Hey everyone, welcome to the next 5-Minute Friday. This is Matt Palmer here from Enrollment Rx. Hope you're having a great week. It's rainy here in Oregon today, but I'm excited to jump back into page layout. So as part of our conversation last week, we talked about lightning pages, the different elements of a lightning page, how you can kind of customize that. We're going to take an even deeper dive on that today, including looking at a brand new Salesforce feature called Dynamic Forms, which relate to more specific things around what you can do with record page. So we'll dive into that today. And without further ado, let's jump in. So continuing our theme of lightning page layouts, let's go ahead and start with a application record page. So this is a ERX application. And let's look at the different elements on this page and some different things we can do to further customize it. Again, as a reminder, if I want to edit this page directly, I go to Setup, and I go to Edit Page. Once I'm in the Edit Page element here, you'll be able to see, as we discussed last week, some of the different items here to the left that are referenced here, what are called standard components. You can see here that includes a related quick list link, so related items to the application. This is something actually called path. A path is a Salesforce feature that allows you to click a button to move somebody along a path. The most common example we see this is with admission status. And so we could review that a little bit further. You can see different elements here, such as our quick access panel. The quick access panel allows you to manage different elements, such as admissions documents, education histories, recommendations, etc. But again, this is all drag and drop. So as an example, if I wanted the related quick links to go below here, it's just a simple drag and drop in order to make that change. As I continue to scroll down here, the next thing I do want to talk about is the details of a record page. You'll notice now, if you were to go to a custom object, such as the application, and you went over here, you'll see this little notification pop up where Salesforce has released something called Dynamic Forms. So if you remember, in our last conversation, we reviewed how you can have different layouts, record page layouts, based on different criteria. For example, you might have that based on what is called a record type. However, this feature allows you to be able to use different elements in order to update and show fields of information beyond just assigning an entire layout at once. So let's review how this works. So if I want to go ahead and click here to upgrade now, it'll take you through this little wizard kind of to take through steps here. So I'm going to go ahead and just click next here. And this here says you can migrate your fields and sections into an existing accordion component. And I can go ahead and do this here, but I'm actually going to uncheck this for now and kind of keep this as is, because what it does is it essentially duplicates what you already have. I'm going to pick the application layout and click Finish. And when I do that, if I scroll down here now, you'll notice the page looks slightly different. So if I click into the record here, you'll notice something else populated over here to the left. We have this component section, but now we actually have this field section as well. This field section allows you to drag entire containers directly onto the record page and control it from here. Additionally, you can see all of the fields of information here to the left that could be dragged and dropped onto the page based on what you're wanting to see. You can see as well, you have other things over here that, for example, this field section can be a 1 or 2 column. And you can filter the visibility of this entire section based on criteria. So as an example, if I wanted to click Add Filter, you can see it gives you 3 different options to filter by. One is based on a field of information. 2 is based off a device. So for example, if you wanted to hide certain sections on a mobile versus a desktop layout. And then 3 is advanced. And advanced isn't quite as scary as it sounds. This allows you to select, if I click select here, for example, a user profile. So if I went to the user, and the user is the person viewing this record as somebody logged in, and I want to segment this by a profile or a permission set, I could do that accordingly. So from this profile name, I could specify a certain value such as admin and hit done. And this section by itself would only show up for anybody who's viewing this as a system admin. But what else can be done here is beyond just the sections here, you can also do it at a field level. So for example, if you didn't want to show the application ID to certain users, there's other ways you can do that through things like profile visibility settings. But really what you could do here is just click this simply here and say add filter, and you could specify this also to be visible only to an admin. I think the more common examples I've seen, however, is if you do it based on, let's say, admission status or a program. So for example, if you wanted to have, this requirement section only to show up if there were a submitted app on, if I went back to this filter, I can now change this, remove this, and base this now off of a field. So I picked admission status equals, and you can pick, I believe, more than one value here. So admit, and I can continue to add criteria to that. But basically, if I wanted this to show up only for those in admitted status, this whole section, I could specify it that way. Once I'm done with this, I can save it and then activate. So dynamic forms is a really great feature, and it's something that can really, I would say, speed up and customize the UI experience for your team. Now, the other option you have when it comes to dynamic forms is you also can do something called dynamic actions. And dynamic actions come into play when your buttons here. Up here, you have these dynamic actions. And the takeaway here is it's very similar, but instead of seeing these 3 buttons here, you could specify the basically buttons, or what in Lightning is called a Lightning action, based on the similar kind of criteria that we just went through. So for example, if you wanted super clone only to show, which allows you to clone the application record for a certain profile, you could render that accordingly without having to create a whole new page layout. So once I'm done with this, I can simply hit save and activate my changes, and then we could go in and test accordingly. All right, so that in summary was part 2 of our Lightning page layouts. We dove a little bit further into the different elements on a Lightning page, like we started to talk about last week. And then we talked about the new Salesforce feature called dynamic forms and how you can apply those to your custom object pages. And that also includes Lightning actions as well. So I hope that you found this very insightful and helpful. Please go out there, test it out. Feel free in your sandbox environment, especially. You can kind of pilot some of these things and kind of test these page layouts before doing that in your production environment as well. But hopefully you found this helpful and it's something you can put into place right away. Love to hear your comments on any creative uses or ideas that you have, whether it be here on the Power of Us Hub or on our help site. So once again, my name is Matt Palmer from Enrollment Rx. I hope you guys have a great week and look forward to seeing you next Friday. Thanks again.